Rookie. He did throw his first interception of the year, but otherwise played pretty good football today. And so who would have thought the Texans sitting at 3-3, 6 games into the season, Rich?
The answer is no one. The answer is no one, especially when you think about some of the teams that they had to beat to earn this 3-3 record. The Saints, who had a top 5 defense last year and added Derek Carr on the other side of this offseason, they fall to the Texans. And I was amazed by the Steelers' victory. It wasn't just the Steelers' victory. They beat the Steelers 30-6. The bright spot on the Steelers, if there is one this season, is how good that defense was. Well, not when they went to Houston to play. They absolutely dominated Mike Tomlin's Steelers team. And then the Jaguars, they went on the road and they got a huge win, 37-17 against the Jaguars 3 weeks ago. So this is a real team. It is a real team. Now, the Jags just took sole possession of first place in the AFC South with their victory today. But the Houston Texans, man, they are nipping at their heels.
All right, it's over in Miami. Dolphins win it 42-21 over Carolina. Bryce Young played better today. Not good enough, not nearly good enough. 23 of 38, 217, 1 touchdown, no pick. Tua today, 21 of 31, 262, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Raheem Mostert, 17 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also had a receiving touchdown. And Tyreek Hill continues to assault defenses. 6 catches, 163 yards, and a score. So that means the Dolphins and the Chiefs now share the top record in the AFC. Both teams are at 5-1. But so, again, we're keeping our eye on this 49er-Browns game. The 49ers at a 3rd and 9 from their own 24-yard line. So 3rd down now for the 49ers. It's a 3rd and 9 from their own 24-yard line. Still 3:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Tell you one thing, Rich, if they got a punt here, if they can't get this first down, look out. The Browns can win this game with a field goal.
Yeah, the Browns got Boogie in last drive, moving it down into 49ers territory before the deep sack taken by P.J. Walker against Nick Bosa.
Here's the 3rd down play now, and Brock Purdy is scrambling for his life and throws it out of bounds. He has been under siege in this game. That Browns defensive front is for real. Brock Purdy in this game, 9 of 20, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. This guy is season-long passer rating over 120 today, 52.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. The Browns, that last drive, they went on a 14-play drive that spanned more than 7 minutes, converted on several 3rd downs and a 4th down along the way to kicking that Dustin Hopkins field goal from 50 yards out. So if you're the Browns, this is what you know. We got to get it to the 35-yard line on the San Francisco 49ers side of the field, and that gives Hopkins an opportunity to hit a field goal within his range. And so trailing by 1, here come the Browns, 2-2 on the season.
Big punt, Bo. Nice punt for the 49ers. It's returned to the 26-yard line, so 2:56 to go. Plenty of time here, and the Browns have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for this Browns football team who really just sort of figured out how to play this Niners team. They haven't had much offensive success in this half at all, but again, a long, sustained drive. They have to do one thing. They have to protect the football. Really, I mean, if you look at the tail of the tape, the Browns, without that interception that set up the touchdown, they would be leading right now.
All right, so the Browns take over. P.J. Walker hasn't had much of a day. No touchdown passes. He's thrown a couple of interceptions. It's going to be up to the 49ers defense to preserve this perfect record for the Niners, along with the Eagles, the only 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL. First play is an incomplete pass for the Cleveland Browns. By the way, underway right now, the Raiders and the Patriots have kicked off their game. Of course, the Patriots coming off the 2 most disastrous weeks in the Belichick era combined, losing 72-3 over the last 2 weeks. Raiders have the ball first. Jimmy Garoppolo in at quarterback. Josh Jacobs getting the running done. So we'll keep our eye on that one. But now it's a 2nd 10 for this Browns team. 2:51 to go. The clock is stopped right now. So timeouts, not an issue right now for the Browns. They have the time. They just got to make plays right now Walker is under siege. He scrambles, he throws, and it's incomplete. Now they have 3rd and 10.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, this is one of those situations that the Niners have not been in this season yet. I mean, think about it. They've absolutely destroyed everybody they played against, the Los Angeles Rams withstanding, but even that wasn't a close game in the end. You know, they haven't been in a situation so far this season where time is ticking off the clock and a team has the ball against them with an opportunity to win, but that's exactly where they find themselves here today. And good teams obviously can be front runners and win big games when they're way ahead. Great teams win the close ones when everything has gone wrong for you, and that's really the story of the tape here with the 49ers today.
All right, a 3rd down pass is incomplete, but there's a penalty flag on the field, and it could be interference against the 49ers, which, of course, would give the Browns an automatic 1st down. P.J. Walker threw one. Oh, it might even be a targeting personal foul against – it is personal foul targeting hit for the 49ers, and just like that, instead of 4th and 10, automatic 1st down for the Browns.
Yeah, there you go. And these are the sort of mistakes that you can't make in these critical situations. And again, they haven't been in many close games. So when you're playing with a lead, you know, a 15-yard penalty or a spot foul at the end of the game on one of your defenders, not as big of a deal. You know, roughing the passer, not as big of a deal. But in moments like this, it's a huge deal. All of these decisions and all of these penalties or missed assignments or whatever it may be are amplified when you only have a narrow lead and a team has a ball working against you.
All right, Browns have the ball at their own 41-yard line. Very little time has come off the clock, and now they have a big run for a 1st down. They have crossed midfield, still 2:35 to go, and they have 2 timeouts. And Cleveland is in great shape right now. That was Ford there with a 13-yard run into 49er territory, so they're down to the 49er 46-yard line. Hopkins just kicked a 50-yard field goal, so you know he's got the range.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All you got to do basically is get 10 more yards.
Now you almost want to run clock.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely, Steve. Get yourself another 1st down and then start thinking about how much time you want to leave the 49ers with. Because once you're within Hopkins' range, obviously you can win the football game. So you got to start calling plays that finish right at the sticks and also inbounds. Very important.
Yeah, a pass intended for Amari Cooper is incomplete, but multiple flags on the play. Looks like another pass interference call against the 49ers. By the way, Amari Cooper in this game, 4 catches, 108 yards. I mean, this ain't the prettiest drive, but the 49ers are making it easy for the Browns.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyle Shanahan is just disgusted with what these flags that are being thrown against his defense.
Like I said, it's the mark of great teams, understanding the situation and playing position perfect and assignment perfect football. This 49ers team is being pressed right now, and they're uncomfortable. All
right, we're going to keep it right here. 2:29. The clock has stopped because either it's been a penalty or an incomplete pass. Browns still with the 2 timeouts. Ford goes outside, and he is going to be out of bounds. Clock is stopped again.
Yeah, about a 4-yard pickup there, and they gotta. Well, Ford, I get it. You're trying to fight for extra yardage, but you gotta understand the situation. If I'm in this situation, I'm Jerome Ford. I'm getting what yards I can, and then I'm getting to the ground. Now, again, they're just slightly outside, I would say, of Hopkins' range. Maybe they're within it. You just hit from 50. This would be, what, a 57-yarder?
Yeah, you need another 1st down. But again, 2:22 to go. They have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. They run it up the middle. Big gain. Ford is on the loose. He is on the loose inside the 14-yard line.
Wow.
All right, so now it's a little bit tricky for the Browns. So obviously you're in gimme field goal territory, but the 49ers have 3 timeouts remaining.
And the 2-minute
warning.
So this
it's
is
not
what
going
you
to
got to
be
do.
easy to run out the clock.
This is what you got to do. I mean, look, Ford's got the hot hand, so I would suggest continue feeding him. Get yourself a 1st down without scoring. This is one of those situations where in New England, if you had a goal-to-go situation and you're playing against a defense or an offense that you don't want on the field any longer, what you do is you try intentionally not to score, and you milk as much clock off of as much time off of the clock as you possibly can. So this is the situation. Hopefully Kevin Stefanski is having that conversation with his skill position players, and they're talking about it in the huddle, because if you get the football and you can score here, it's better just to get down rather than hand the ball back to the 49ers offense with all their timeouts and say 2 minutes left to play.
All right, with all these timeouts, and it looks like the 49ers could easily get the ball back, we'll be right back. Stay with us. We'll have this exciting finish, plus all the games just kicking off. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
We don't just talk about the NFL. We know our NFL.
You can sit there and say you're playing lesser opponents. That's how you get beat. Listen, the NFL is always going to be shield-driven.
This is your home for the NFL, because on Fox Sports Radio, NFL game days are different.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Boston area attorneys. 10 Cabot Road, Suite 210, Medford, Massachusetts, 02155.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
Doug Gottlieb. He was an athlete.
I am a former college basketball player, former professional player.
But he never pulls the player card.
It's about the sport.
He values discussion, especially when he's talking.
I talk, you listen.
He's Doug Gottlieb.
I'm a geek.
Say his name.
Oh, Doug.
It's Doug Gottlieb.
The champ is here.
That's right. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show.
You're welcome, America.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has two pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
I didn't know that this was a feud, but apparently this is now a feud. Steve Smith Sr., who is an analyst for NFL Network.
A flamethrower.
He was on the field, and he was doing his pregame report, and Jerry Jeudy of the Broncos walked by. And apparently there was some sort of interaction, some sort of back and forth, and Steve Smith Sr. explained himself on the air as to why there was a little bit of a contentious back and forth between him and Jerry Jeudy.
I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response was ninja.
Ninja?
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on, and when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you? I would say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He can be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
Oh, apparently. I mean,
Steve Smith will whoop his ass even to this day. I'm surprised, Steve. Like, that's very cool that Steve actually said, I'm offering an apology, because that ain't, if you know Steve, that ain't really Steve's MO. Yeah.
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. They're fearless.
I would put all my chips to the middle.
They have attitude.
No nice things for you.
And they're best friends.
With my best friend.
He's Jason Smith.
I love chocolate and I love the Mets. Fire them all!
That's Mike Harmon. What else do you need? It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
This is a story you may not like.
Putting the sports world on their back.
I had a dream about Zach Wilson.
Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. When you call yourself the premier sports lineup in the nation, you have to back it up. Well, my friends, we do. Check these names. Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Gottlieb.
Spectacular.
Cavino and Rich, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, Ben Maller, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon. Is that premier enough? Listen to all those names right here.
Really?
On Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at?
This is the one thing that everyone has been saying about Brock Purdy. He's had mostly blowout wins. He hasn't had a lot of close games as the starting quarterback of the 49ers. Now with 1:36 to go from their own 25-yard line, he's got to find a way, at least to get him into field goal. A field goal will win this game for the 49ers. So at 3rd and 10 right now from their own 25-yard line after back-to-back incomplete passes by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, this is exactly where Tom Brady, and that has been an often comparison here with Brock Purdy early in his career, shined. Even games where he was playing poorly, he found a way to win when the chips were stacked against the Patriots early in his career. We'll see how he reacts to this environment. On the road, all the chips stacked against you, and you need 2 points to tie, 3 to win.
All right, so 3rd and 10 right now for the 49ers, 1:31 to go. They still have one timeout remaining, but this Browns defense has really manhandled Purdy and this passing attack, especially for the 49ers in this game. Purdy doesn't have much time, and he throws another incomplete pass.
Wow.
So the Purdy critics are right now ready to jump on
Could be pass interference. Could be.
What are they calling right here? It was a hold for sure on Cleveland. Why? Why are you doing that? 9 of 22 passing, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And Cleveland gets called for the penalty, pass interference. And that was pass interference. I mean,
automatic first down, bails out the San Francisco 49ers offense.
The pass wasn't close. Even if he hadn't held him, that pass was not going to get to the receiver. So that was a golden opportunity out for the 49ers. So the 1st and 10 now from their own 32-yard line. Purdy's looking to throw again, and he finds Deebo Samuel. Is that Samuel back in the game?
I think it's Brandon Ayuk.
I think.
It's Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk is back in the game. And
his
by
third
the way,
reception of the game. He's got
Samuel.
No, maybe it was Juwan Jennings. I think it might have been Juwan Jennings with that one.
All right, so the 49ers suddenly on a big
Ayuk.
play. So Samuel went out of this game, and now the 49ers, let's just update you right now. So the 49ers are at the 43-yard line of Cleveland. So they're in Browns territory after that big completion. Purdy just threw a pass to Jennings that was incomplete. Where is this game, guys? Where are we looking? I've got 3 games that are all showing the same game right now.
So Ayuk caught that first and 10 pass for 25 yards, and then Purdy followed it up with a 1st and 10 opportunity after the Ayuk first down with the short pass to the right to Jennings.
All right, so here we go.
Now he's got another one in the hands of Ayuk for 8 yards.
So Ayuk has been his favorite target today, no question about that. So just, again, this is where a quarterback proves himself. Under these conditions,
got it down
a day
to the
that
Cleveland
is not
35.
going your day. I mean, Brock Purdy is just 11 of 25 for 116 yards, but they are inching ever so close now to get into field goal range. And again, the 49ers do have the luxury. We have a Browns player down on the field with an apparent injury.
Well, that'll be a charge timeout to Cleveland. If you get injured inside of 2 minutes, it is a charge timeout, so the Cleveland Browns will have to use a timeout here with 49 seconds left in the game.
So the ball's at the Cleveland 35-yard line. That's a 52-yard field goal, so it's makeable. 3rd and 2 right now for the 49ers. Again, trailing the Browns 19-17. A 49er team that had scored at least 30 points in each of its first 5 games, seemingly unstoppable, has been shut down for the most part today by this Browns defense. McCaffrey got hurt. Deebo Samuel got banged up in this game. Brock Purdy has completed less than half his passes, yet they're only a few yards away from getting into true field goal range. Quick pass is complete inside the 30-yard line. Stop the clock. Jennings on the receiving end, and that was an absolute dime that was thrown that time by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and he's getting to show off his clutch gene here in a game where he has not played well. He is playing against an elite defense on the road, crowd against them, and he's operating. This is where the guys with the lowest heartbeat, they rise to the occasion, and Brock Purdy appears to be rising to the occasion.
Where is Kittle in this game? 1 catch, 1 yard? Where is he? He has not been used in this entire game. All right, we're at the 20.
Good defenses do that, Steve. They shut down a player, an outlet valve for quarterbacks.
All right, they're at the 23-yard line, a 2nd and 7 right now. Still 1 timeout for the 49ers. So they're going to run the clock down. We're down to 8 seconds. And they have a 3rd and 7. Now, this is usually the wise play to go for the field goal here on 3rd down, just in case you have a errant snap or something like that. And they are going to bring the field goal team on right now. So this will be, I guess, about a 40-yard field goal attempt, which would give the 49ers the lead. 9 seconds to go in the game as the 49ers are trying to escape and beat this Browns team on the road. It's been a very tough game. The weather's been off and on rain throughout. But this is going to be officially a 41-yard field goal attempt for the 49ers.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hit it. I mean, look, Brock Purdy did everything he could. I mean, this is what it looks like. This is what you ask of your quarterback. Get us within range so we can go win the football game with our kicker.
So Brock Purdy on that final drive was able to get it done. The big play was that pass interference call against Cleveland on what would have set up a 4th and 10. Instead, the 49ers get the first down, and since then, a couple of big plays. Jennings, with McCaffrey out and Samuel out, coming up with a couple of big plays. So a 41-yard field goal. Cleveland using a timeout, try to freeze the kicker right now. So a 3rd and 7, 9 seconds to go. Again, if they fumble the snap, they could still fall on the ball. Although they don't have any time. Oh, they still have the one timeout left. All right, so here we go.
No, that was their final timeout.
That was their final timeout.
Because of the injury.
Here we go. 41-yard field goal is no good. He missed it.
The Cleveland Browns win.
The field goal, and the 49ers are no longer undefeated. The Cleveland Browns have pulled out the upset. Wow, he missed that one. Yikes. He just pushed it right.
Well, listen, every team can get got, and that's the reason why we love the National Football League, because you are waiting for your first loss if you're undefeated. It's nearly impossible to win every game in this league, and you can see why. Every single team has ballers. Every single team has Pro Bowlers and playmakers.
Wow, perfect snap, perfect hold. Yep. He just flat out missed it.
What a great plan by Cleveland all game long. Now, they got some help. Obviously, Debo leaving the game with an injury helps them. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey leaving the game with an injury helps them. But they did a nice job shutting down some of the outlets that Brock Purdy likes to get to when he's under pressure. They rushed 3 and 4 many times throughout the day and still were able to get Brock uncomfortable. He played a poor game as a result. The running game was almost non-existent. And against a juggernaut of a 49er team at home, Cleveland ends up winning this game and advances to 3-2 on the season.
How about this? Here's the trivia question. Who was the first starting quarterback to beat Brock Purdy in a regular season game? The answer, P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker, no touchdowns, 2 picks today, but Cleveland with the win. All right, let's find out what is trending right now. She's been watching as we have. That was crazy. I mean, it's like it's all set up. All right, the 49ers got the field goal, and he missed.
He must feel pretty awful right now, which
awful.
Sucks. It's like, oh, you poor dude. Like, that sucks. I definitely did not have this on my bingo card, fellas. The 49ers losing to the Browns without Deshaun Watson. But it is what it is. 1917 will probably be the fun. It is. It's over. Yes, George Kittle. I don't understand. Where was George Kittle?
One catch.
Man. I actually thought once Christian McCaffrey was injured that maybe he was going to get a couple more, ballstone guys. My fantasy team is don't worry about it. All right, just got going. The Raiders are it's 3-0 early in the first. Eagles, Jets just got going. Scoreless. Lions, Buccaneers literally just got going scoreless. But it all started in London today, fellas. That's right. The Ravens defeated the Titans 24-16. They are now 4-2, 6 Justin Tucker field goals. Of course, he is the GOAT when it comes to that. The Bengals held on to beat the Seahawks 17-13, while the Commanders took down the Falcons 24-16. Sam Howell, 14 of 23, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. He might need a ice bath. The Vikings defeated the Bears 19-13. Justin Fields was out with a hand injury. And then what did we say? Tyson Bagent came in, and he had a rushing touchdown for the Bears, but they still lost to Minnesota. Jaguars outscored the Colts 37-20. NFL Network reported earlier today that Anthony Richardson, he did not play for the Colts, is considering season-ending shoulder surgery. Did you guys read that? But he has a bad shoulder. He's considering season-ending surgery, which would suck. Travis Etienne had 18 carries, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Jacksonville. The Dolphins erased a 14-point deficit and beat the Panthers 42-21. Carolina is the only winless team in the NFL, 0-6. The Texans topped the Saints 23-13. Both teams are now 3-3. What a busy day, fellas. It's been fun. Back back to you.
Great stuff as always, Monty. We're happy that you were able to make it here today.
Oh, yeah, rough
considering
morning.
Considering the obstacles along the way.
So, really.
All right, well, now we got 4 games that are underway right now. As Monty mentioned, Raiders are up 3-0 early against the Pats. Rams have a 3-0 deficit to the Cardinals. Eagles, Jets, Lions, Buccaneers. I wanted to talk about this Lions-Buccaneers game. Buccaneers come in 3-1. They're coming off a bye week. The Lions are 4-1. You talk about resurrected quarterbacks. We're talking about 2 guys, Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, who are former number 1 overall picks, looking for new life with new teams. And there's no doubt Jared Goff has found that in Detroit. He has played at a Pro Bowl level last year, should have made the Pro Bowl, has continued on this year. What do you make of what Baker Mayfield has done so far for these Buccaneers?
I think he's made them believers. Similar to when Tom Brady walked through the doors in the Tampa Bay locker room and made everybody feel like they have a legitimate chance and a legitimate shot. I think Baker has a lot of that Tom Brady in him. Now, obviously, he's not nearly as talented as Tom Brady. He doesn't have the acumen or the resume that Tom Brady has, obviously. But he does have that underdog chip on his shoulder, it's us against the world attitude that resonated throughout Tom Brady's career as a starting quarterback. And Baker Mayfield is a leader. He knows how to encourage and inspire a locker room and to truly bring together a team. Just look what he's accomplished in Cleveland. I mean, the Cleveland Browns for years and years and years were absolutely dreadful. And they continue to be even when Baker was there, but he willed that team to a playoff victory against an AFC North rival in the Steelers in blowout fashion during his time with Cleveland. And that organization, I mean, from top to bottom, was kind of a dumpster fire while he was there. Now, granted, since then he's been injured and often out of the lineup and bounced around as a starter now with Carolina and the Rams, but I think he's found a home in Tampa, and I'm very intrigued where this season goes for the Buccaneers.
So, big matchup there. Chris, of course, our resident Lions fan. I think most people now look at the Lions as a team nipping at the heels of the 49ers and the Eagles, and with the 49ers losing today, all of a sudden, the Lions looking a little better, considering that the Lions, I know Kansas City was without Kelsey and Jones, but they beat Kansas City.
They beat them.
So they got
also,
a W.
They also have a pretty good, it's still early. Things can change in the season, but this is an early lead on the NFC North that you just keep looking at the Bears, the Vikings, and the Packers, and I'm not sure who really challenges them right now for that division crown. So, yeah, you can say this in the first time for the Lions. They're not even looking at just making the playoffs. They're looking at playoff position jockeying right now in this season. That's how comfortable they are. So even if they lose today in Tampa, I'm not really sweating it because they have a lot of cushion to work with. And you're missing some guys in injuries, but besides the defensive backs, they're still playing incredibly good football.
Next 3 games, a little bit of treachery on the road against the Ravens. Then they host the Raiders, and then on the road again
with a bye week before going out to Los Angeles. Yeah,
right, to face the Chargers. But that's a high octane offense, obviously, and a defense with 2 bookend rushers in Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Mack has 6 sacks on the season, I believe. I mean, he's just been special this year. 4 against his old team, the Raiders. So. It's one of those seasons where if the Lions can navigate some tough spots here approaching the middle of their season, they then come back home to host the Bears and the Packers. We could be talking about a 1-loss Lions team through week 10 or 11 of the season.
Lions, by the way, just picked off Baker Mayfield, tipped at the line of scrimmage there, and Lions come down with it in the red zone.
By the way, guys, meanwhile, the Raiders have a 3-0 lead. Jimmy Garoppolo got intercepted, so that, the Patriots have that defense. Mac Jones is 0 for 2 passing. He just got sacked for an 11-yard loss, forcing New England to punt out of their end zone. I mean, I'm just, again, eyeball test here. For whatever reason, Mac Jones has lost it. I mean, that sack, he just took it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can throw the ball, and there's ways to not take the sack, right, and lose 11 yards, forcing your punter to kick out of the end zone. Obviously, given Vegas a great field position already with 3-0 lead, but Rich,
well, look,
I mean,
you lose 11 yards, and you get sacked at your own 6-yard line. It just sets up your whole quarter or your whole half for trouble. Then you're playing the field position game. You know what I mean? And you're giving the Raiders a distinct advantage, who, by the way, before that interception, had ran a tremendous number of plays. They ran 16 plays on their opening drive that ultimately finished with a field goal. That's the reason why they have the 3-0 lead in Las Vegas today, and forced a 3-and-out and a punt against the New England Patriots on their opening drive, and another 3-and-out and a punt that's coming up on the second drive.
I thought Bill O'Brien was supposed to fix things.
He has not. He hasn't. And I will say this, partially it's Mac Jones, partially it's Billy O'Brien, partially it's the offense, the personnel they have. And the only person you can blame for personnel problems is Bill Belichick, because he rubber stamps every single decision in that organization. So they've used draft picks improving the defense and free agency improving the defense. And there have been many times where the Patriots, their name was brought up in trade conversations for star offensive players, or their name was brought up in free agency, potential signings, and they've never made a splash in terms of offensive skill position players, and they really haven't done that in years. And this is the results. You have a very anemic offense as a result.
All right, 4 games going on right now. Big game tonight. Big game tomorrow night. We got it all covered. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here. The kick is up. The kick is no good! It's no good! And the Browns will beat the 49ers! It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Worn-out tires are a danger to you, your passengers, and other drivers. TireRack.com reminds you to inspect your tires regularly. Grab a quarter, stick it in the tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head, it's time to replace. Go to my page, TireRack.com/sports. Use the Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. Choose from the full line of Michelin tires and tread confidently. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this. Made for this.
There are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
Hate the Phillies, but I love Bryce Harper. Love how they're playing. I can even say I love how they're playing, so much so that Danny G and I both agree. They're the teams we've adopted to go the rest of the way, right? People always say, well, who are you rooting for? And usually, most of the time for me, it's like, nobody. I hate them all. But you can't help but get swept into how great they're playing. I like how they're playing. I want the Rangers to beat the Astros, but I think, as of now, I'm rooting for the Phillies.
Well,
I got one more, Rich.
No, you got let's hear it. I do, of course.
I always hated the Backstreet Boys or anything corny like that. I never liked the boy band thing.
I guess you're too much, Ismo.
Hated the Backstreet Boys, but I loved Quit Playing Games with My Heart.
Quit playing games with my heart.
Yeah, man, that was my jam, dude. I didn't know who sang it the first few times. I thought it was like Blackstreet. I was like, oh, yeah.
That's right. You've told that story on the air before.
Yeah. Cavito went to the record store. What'd you go to Coconuts? Where'd you go?
I went to Virgin Megastore?
No, I remember it was the Wiz, actually. Nobody beat the Wiz. Route 22 in Union. I remember where I was.
And you said, yo, quit playing games with my heart. And you're thinking it's some like R&B group with some cool black dudes. And you're like, wait, 4 white guys with frosted tips?
Covino thought it was high five. Yeah, I was like, nothing against them personally. It wasn't my steez, but I did love that song. I can't lie. I hate blank, but I love blank.
I hate blank, but I love blank. A lot of times, like I said, sports or music.
Hey, this is Cheech. And this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Check this out.
This is The Herd.
You're excited. I'm excited.
With Colin Cowherd.
Philly's fun to watch. Watched them again last night. Alpha, cool, Bryce Harper. That is a great television product. So I love watching the Phillies play. I don't think baseball's hurting at all. The playoffs' bigger issue is the Yankees and the Red Sox just won. Would be nice. They're no longer elite. So if you had the Yankees in these playoffs in the American League and Aaron Judge hitting bombs, and they'd have to get through the polarizing Astros and Justin Verlander, and then on the National League side, I get Bryce Harper. Baseball's ratings are up this year. There's no fear. There's nothing wrong with wild card teams winning. What baseball's always needed is fewer games in a season. That'll never change. And superstars that are marketable.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Let's go.
Steve's MO is you want to talk to Agent 89, you can find me wherever it is that I'm going to be. Wherever my 10 toes is down, you can find me there. You can come see me with it. I mean, how many catches did Jerry Jeudy have last night?
Yeah, 3.
What was his yardage?
14 yards.
Oh, okay.
So then Schlereth went to Twitter and was like, 3 for 14. Love it when a dude who gets challenged by his, quote, old head haters rises up to the challenge. And yes, I'm talking about you, Jerry Jeudy. So maybe Jerry Judy's just a little defensive right now because he's catching strays from, great former NFL players.
And by the way, two players that I know for a fact are watching the tape. It's not like guys are looking at a stat line and saying, oh, this is like they're watching tape.
Two Pros. LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe. Jonas Knox. 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. When you wake up, we're already awake.
I got up and I did not shower.
When you go to sleep, well, we'll be watching.
Whoa, Colin!
Why? Because we're the friend that you can't get rid of.
People really underestimate my willingness to go home.
We're that uncle who won't shut up.
You shut up!
We're the grandparents sharing wisdom.
I have a 27-year-old wife, but I got billions.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
All the way live!
The premier sports lineup in the nation. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
.41 yards for Jake Moody. Wisnowski kneels at the 31 to give the Niners the lead. Snap is down. The kick is up. The kick is no good! It's no good! And the Browns will beat the 49ers 19-17. He pushed it wide to the right.
That's the Browns Radio Network. Browns with a big upset today, defeating the previously undefeated 49ers by a score of 19-17. That's also our Progressive Play of the Day, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. Steve Hartman, Rich Ornberger, Fox Sports Red Zone Radio, live from the TireRack.com studios. I want to thank everyone today. Chris riveted on his Lions right now. Early 3-0 lead against the Buccaneers. Monty trying to figure out what happened to George Kittle today. 1 catch for 1 yard. And then there's Bo, our resident Eagles fan. How does it feel to be the last team undefeated in the National Football League?
Feels good.
And right now it feels better because the Eagles have a first and goal, second goal. Now what happened there? They had a first and goal at the 3-yard line. What happened?
I just lost some yardage on a Boston Scott.
So he just lost 7 yards on the play. What are you doing? I thought with the Eagles,
that's the Boston
when you
Scott
have
experience.
What do you do, Boston Scott, from the first and goal to 3? Rich, am I right with the Eagles? You just go to that scrum lineup and do a couple of sneaks, and you're in the end zone. Why would you get cute?
Well, here's the problem: is you have opportunities to get away from your bread and butter play by running some different looks, and that's how you make a versatile offense. Is you don't always do the same things. You don't always try the same things out of the same formations. I get it. It probably looks uncouth to people who have been following the Eagles over the course of this season, but you do need to throw some change-up pitches. Also, Jalen Hurts is basically that whole franchise, and the more you do QB sneaks, the more you expose him to potential injury.
All right, from first and goal at the 3 to third and goal at the 10, Hurts has a quarterback draw play, and he is going to come up short, basically down to the 3-yard line. So now 4th and 3. So does Sirianni get cute here and go for it on 4th and 3, or do you take the field goal? Look at Bo. He's going to sit back. He's not even going to answer that question. What do you think Sirianni does?
There's no question in my mind he's going to go for it. Nick Sirianni, he fell off of that Frank Reich coaching tree, and he's a very aggressive coach. It would shock me if they kick the field goal here.
All right, the Raiders have just gotten a touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing a touchdown pass to Jacoby Myers. So 10-0 Raiders quickly against the Patriots. That's 82-3 now. The Patriots have been outscored the last couple of weeks. And the Eagles are going for it. 4th and goal at the 3. It's a draw play to Hurts, and he doesn't even come close. He tried to reach across, but I think that was after he was already down. They're saying he's down short of the goal line. Yeah, I think he was down. Did you watch that play? I mean, he tried to reach across, but it looked like he was clearly down before he reached across to the goal line.
All of these plays are reviewed, even if they're not touchdown scoring plays. They'll take a closer look at this. So we'll see what the official comes up with. But
the ruling on the field is that he was short.
Yeah. Now, that's actually a good question. When you have a close play where it could have or couldn't have been a touchdown, I know they automatically review all touchdowns, but
I don't think they're reviewing this play.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's first down for the Jets. They take over. I mean, I don't know, Bo. Let's hear your call in those last couple of calls by the you had first and goal at the 3-yard line. 4 plays later, you hand the ball back to the Jets with no points.
They should be challenging that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's a touchdown.
In this spot, because
I mean, the Jets obviously have a really, really good defense.
Right. Well, and then maybe Nick Sirianni is thinking to himself, but they also have a really, really inept offense. So we're really good defensively, and we're going to guard them up against their own goal line and try to get a safety in the ball back.
By the way, the Rams right now trailing the Cardinals 3-0. This game's at SoFi. There's so few L.A. fans supporting tomorrow. Can you imagine what that Monday night game's going to look like with the Cowboys and the Chargers?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I say 90% Cowboy fans. I might be lowballing that one, but right now the Rams. I'll tell you one thing about this Rams team, and we got ball is dropped in the end zone. Wow. Nakua, the rookie, had a chance to make a catch there in the end zone, could not hang on. So the Rams will try again. That is a catchable ball, and he had the ball, but when he hit the ground, it popped out. This Rams team that I predicted would be the worst team in the league has been anything but. And I'll give it to Matthew Stafford. Doesn't have overwhelming numbers this year, but he's played hard. Aaron Donald's back up to snuff. They got Cooper Kupp back in the fold. He's got 2 catches already, 52 yards. Rams and Sean McVay, I think, is proving to a lot of people he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah. Sean McVay obviously is a good coach. You don't win a Super Bowl, you don't appear in 2 of them unless you're a good coach.
Yep.
And he's done that with 2 different quarterbacks. Remember, the first one was Jared Goff. They lost to the Patriots. The second one, he gets the victory with Matthew Stafford 2 years ago. And if it weren't due to injuries, I think last year would have been a very similar looking year to the year prior. I mean, how much worse did they get offensively by adding, or I should say, by having Cooper Kupp out of the lineup for the majority of the season and Matthew Stafford hurt for close to the majority of the season. So I think the Rams are going to be a tough out this season, and they may flirt with a playoff berth.
By the way, here are the numbers on that Patriots game. 148 yards for the Raiders, 5 for the Patriots.
Yikes.
The Pats are really, really bad. This is good, though. Keep it right here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
FS1. Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
And now, here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
This thing is going to drag on and on. Here we go. The trade deadline's on Halloween. I've got the perfect elixir for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Their wide receivers blow. They need help. This is the time. These are the greatest years of Mahomes' career. Don't waste them. Do not waste them. And there's people saying, well, what about McCole Hardman? They can get him back from the Jets. That's a Trump move. That is a Trump move. Here's what you do. Kansas City picks up the phone. They send a text over to the Rams, right? Send a text over to the Rams. 2 words. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. What's it going to take to poach Cooper Kupp? Make a Godfather offer. And since the Rams got a wide receiver that fell out of heaven, Puka Nacua, who's pretty cheap and also pretty good, who plays a similar style, not as good as Cooper Kupp, but he's a poor man's Cooper Kupp. If you're the Rams and you're a middling team, would you make that move? Of course you would. Here's why. Because Kansas City has the ability to make the Godfather offer. Nobody turns down the Godfather offer. It's an offer you cannot refuse. Thus, the Godfather offer. So who cares if you have to trade a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks? I would even trade 2 first-round picks for Cooper Kupp. He's that good. You put him with Mahomes, and you still have, obviously, Kelsey. Man, do everything you can to fortify the stockpile of talent while Mahomes is in the prime of his career.
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
Steve Covino.
Ooh.
Rich Davis.
Yes.
This is Covino and Rich.
When you see a team who has a chemistry and they're playing with not only passion, excitement, they're having fun, and the fan base is going nuts, and your team is stale, that's the feeling of, you ever go on a double date and you and your situation, like, you guys aren't really feeling each other anymore, and you're with like a new love couple.
Oh, you nailed it.
You're like, oh, look at him. They're like touching legs under the table, and you're like,
look at these lovebirds. That's how you feel watching the Phillies.
When I was in my 20s, you know when you book something, but you're not going to waste money because you don't have a ton of it? I booked a vacation, broke up with the girl. I'm like, we're still going. I went on a vacation with a girl that we had like sort of broken up. Being on vacation and seeing everyone else in love doing like romantic candlelight dinners on the beach. And I'm like, I hate it. That's how I feel about my relationship with the Mets when I see the Phillies.
Covino and Rich. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. They don't always agree.
Can we have a logical? No!
Sometimes they yell, actually.
My goodness, I got a headache after all this yelling.
But they hold nothing back.
I'm a grown man.
They set the standard.
Bring out the cheese.
And they're on.
Yeah!
It's Chris Broussard. It's Rob Parker.
I'm the poo-poo king. Ew.
It's The Odd Couple. Tag team in the airwaves weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go! Check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1. And here's what you need to know.
The Cleveland Browns have handed the San Francisco 49ers their first loss of the season. 19-17 was the final score. San Francisco had a chance to win the game, but kicker Jake Moody missed the 41-yard field goal. The 49ers in the game did lose Christian McCaffrey to an oblique injury and Deebo Samuel to a shoulder injury. Now the only undefeated team left is the Eagles, and they just scored a rushing touchdown thanks to Jalen Hurts. They are up on the Jets in New York 7-0, less than 1 minute to go in the first quarter. The Raiders are up on the Patriots. Jimmy Garoppolo finding Jacoby Myers in the end zone, and they are up 10-0 halfway through the second quarter against the Patriots. The Cardinals and the Rams are tied at 3 apiece. They're about to start the second, and the Lions are up on the Buccaneers 3-0, 1 minute to go in the first. In baseball, the Rangers added pitcher Max Scherzer to their roster. They take on the Astros for the ALCS Game 1 tonight.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Let's go get these guys for 30 minutes, huh?
Recapping the early games. Touchdown! And bringing you the hits and plays that are going down now.
Take Sparta, fire week. Take Sparta, fire week. Let's go! Go!
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Hey, look where we are, though. We're in the red zone. We got to put every ball in the end zone.
Now, live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio, here's Dan Beyer and Kerry Rhodes.
Count them 1, 2, 3, 4 games in this late window in Week 6. Welcome in as we are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Now, simple math, Kerry Rhodes tells me 4 games, 8 teams, 2 of which you've played for.
Yeah.
So you've got like 25% of this late window covered
Yes, sir.
with your pro career in the National Football League.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I was just talking to you outside about how excited I am to be here right now while the games are going on, and seeing my Jets on TV definitely makes the mood a little bit better.
And seeing your Jets only down 7-0. We're going to get into that. The Eagles with the lead. You just heard Monty say your Cardinals are one of your former teams, also in action in a tight one against the Rams today. Obviously, we've got the I don't want to call it Belichick Bowl but it kind of feels like it's Belichick Bowl because Josh McDaniels is the opposing coach on the other sideline with the Raiders.
Yep.
But it is the Patriots and Raiders playing. And then for anybody that listens to Red Zone Radio, they know Chris, our technical producer, not only a huge Lions fan, but what all the work, Chris, that you do with the Lions. Where can our listeners get that information?
Yeah, that'll be at prideofdetroit.com and Pride of Detroit on your favorite podcast platforms is where we put out the podcast, and we've got it on YouTube. We've got a POD Direct, Pride of Detroit, everything.
And this is, and Kerry, the reason I wanted to say that is because it is going to be completely one-sided because for the next 3 hours, I'm just going to gush over the creamsicles because they're back.
They're
I wanted to
They're
at least
beautiful.
give equal time to the Lions because I just am in love. I have waited for this day for so long, and I'm not even a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah.
They just look so good wearing the creamsicles, but as you heard Monty
I think a lot of teams need a huge return to these old things.
Yes.
Patriots, Eagles, Tampa Bay.
Eagles
Let's just all
will
go
later
back.
on this season, and we've seen the Patriots have theirs, but yeah, so Lions Buccaneers are other late game that we've got today.
Yeah, and Chris is not just some some random fanboy here. He's really dedicated to his team and does excellent work over there. So yeah, Chris, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Good.
We just have up an interview with Amon-Ra St. Brown too. So
keep talking because then it allows me to talk more about the creamsicles later on in the show. Like I honestly don't
almost
even
want
care.
a creamsicle now.
True story. We have picks on the Doug Gottlieb show on Friday.
I picked the Creams. I think this is going to be a good game. I mean, I really do. And right now,
Low
it is a
scoring,
close
big, good
game.
defensive matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. But I said, how in the world could I pick against the Creamsicles today? Like it is not happening. So I went with the Buccaneers straight up. But
You did, huh?
They do look sharp.
Ah, Dan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Look, they're even showing it on the graphics right now. If you're driving in your car, pull over where there's Wi-Fi, and then maybe just try to bring up the game on the phone while you continue to listen to us.
Not on the freeway, though.
No, listen, Kerry, I know I'm a little older than you. This screams NFC Central.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It is not NFC North. It is the NFC Central. That is what it screams right now.
What's
And
the
so-
one player that pops up in your mind when you see the Creamsicle uniform? The
Doug
one
Williams.
player. There you go. Okay.
Doug Williams.
All right. I was going to say All-Star, but
Oh, that, yeah.
yeah.
They had a highlight film of All-Star this past week in the Creamsicles, and I retweeted. I just like you're right. Like it looks so good. Unfortunately, you know who the second player? Vinny Testaverde, and he was awful with the Buccaneers. Just tough time. It was when they're in their awful years. No offense. He had a great career afterwards. Almost took the Jets to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But I think of that as well. There are a lot of, unfortunately, like that logo, and it was mentioned at one point, and trust me, we're going to get away. We're going to talk about football. But when they switched over to the pewter uniforms that they kind of now wear now as their main set again, and then they won the Super Bowl over the Raiders, there was talk that, the Creamsicle was so associated with losing.
Yeah.
And they never wanted to go back to that because that was what they were associated with. And then about 10, 15 years ago, they found out how much people wanted to see it, brought it back for one weekend, and they do it in a really cool way where they honor an old Buccaneers player.
Yep.
Where they, may put a player up in the Ring of Honor, but someone who wore that uniform or a former Buccaneer gets honored. And then the NFL had their helmet rule because they were worried about concussions. And then, so for a decade, we didn't have those uniforms. But now the entire stadium decked out in that creamsicle and that red, that special red that they wear with the orange. But the misery that you saw, you think Steve Young, obviously, great quarterback for the 49ers, Hall of Famer, but
started with the Bucs.
Yeah, had an awful time.
Yeah, it was not good for him there either. No.
And maybe that's why the Buccaneers haven't scored in the first 16 and a half minutes of this game. That could be a reason.
Yeah, a good reversion back to losing football would be really well today because I took the Lions. So,
there we go.
Yeah.
Even more opportunity for the equal time. I do want to talk about your Jets, though, because this is a game today against the Eagles where the Jets come in without their two starting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, not available for the Jets today. You're coming off of a win last week against Denver that you used a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And now you've got the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles coming into town. How difficult is it going to be today for the Jets in this matchup where they trail 7-0 early in the second?
I don't think it's going to be difficult, to be honest, Dan. I mean, just as far as the, getting back up in motion wise, getting back to an emotional state to perform because they need this win. They need a big performance to keep trending in the right direction. And Zach is looking good here early, moving the ball down the field. Defense is playing well still, holding up a little bit. So I'm expecting this game to be, come down to the wire.
Is that recipe? And again, I think that last week was just so different because they wanted to stick it to Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
But was Zach Wilson good enough last week? Is that the level of play that he needs to play at? He doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. I don't think anybody ever expected him to be.
Right.
He just couldn't be the old Zach Wilson. Has he showed you enough in his most recent starts that he can get the job done for the Jets to at least try to stay into the playoff picture?
Yeah, the number one thing with Zach is just his humility going into this year. I mean, he got his bell rocked a little bit last year, and when you get to these moments of having to, have like recourse on you as a human being, then all the things that are bad or good or whatever the situation is that really completes you as a human goes into question. So he had to break down all those things and get to a point now where, you get back to the small details, not only as a human, but as a football player as well. And what we've seen so far from him, everything is trending up, and I think the team is behind him, and I think that's a really good sign for him moving forward as well as the Jets.
He's 5 of 8 for 35 yards. The Jets right now are driving against the Eagles. They are in field goal range, going to face a 2nd and 10 from the Philadelphia 22-yard line. I think it's and you would know more about this than me, Kerry, because you played and you experienced all this. I do think that there is something to stacking games where Chiefs game, very solid. I mean, a lot of people on Monday were pointing out Zach Wilson had better numbers than Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
I don't know if he looked like the part of the better quarterback, but when you looked at the numbers and how it played out and what the Jets did that night, Zach Wilson looked very, very capable. Then to compound what he did last week, again, didn't throw a touchdown pass, but was pretty efficient. Got some help. Breece Hall, the big touchdown run. Mm-hmm. If you could continue that, I think that's a big part of allowing Zach Wilson to make those steps. And it's not the roller coaster that you get every single week. And that's what I felt like we got last week or last year. And there were a lot more lows than highs when it came to Zach Wilson, and the lowest being that New England game. But there was nothing steady. And so him stacking these games, I think, is hugely important because he didn't get off to the greatest of starts in week 2 and in week 3. It was difficult against Dallas. It was, difficult against New England. But to be able to continue those, I thought that was a big deal in his progression and just being a better quarterback.
100%, Dan. I mean, it works in tandem, right? If you have a couple of bad games in a row, then that's going to be on your psyche. It's going to weigh heavy, and you're going to try to not duplicate those games. But in trying not to duplicate bad games, you usually have bad games.
Yes.
So if you're able to get on an upward trajectory of positivity and starting to see results on tape, and then your teams also get to see how you're performing in those moments, the confidence of the team rises, but also the confidence of the quarterbacks rises, and that's what you're seeing in Zach Wilson so far.
We told you they had a second down. They got a penalty on a third down, so it was 3rd and long, 3rd and 13, and then on the third down play, Wilson ends up just kind of throwing it away on a little boot action. So the Jets are going to have to settle for a field goal from about 42 yards to try to pull within 4. Greg Zuerlein, who's been a great weapon for them, he's made 28 straight field goals, is the graphic they're actually showing on Fox right now. So if he misses it, they're the kiss of death, but not me. I'm taking zero responsibility for this, Kerry, if this does not go through the uprights.
Knock it in, Greg.
But the Jets ending up. I don't know.
Did he miss that?
He made it.
Oh,
no, he made it.
God.
He made it.
It was so close.
Even my awful eyesight, I could not tell.
Oh,
so I thought
God.
he missed it.
Me too.
Honestly, and if you're driving, you're wondering what's happening. It was hugging the right upright, like it was. It's like if you're playing in golf and you're like, that's going to hit the flag stick. That's going right at. Doesn't happen a lot to me, but it's right at it. Oh my goodness, it's right at it, and then it missed it, and apparently that was close. It snuck in. Yeah. He's Kerry Rhodes. I'm Dan Beyer. Let's get you caught up to date of what is happening elsewhere as the Jets have pulled within 4. Jacoby Myers, a touchdown reception for the Raiders. Patriots, though, have kicked a field goal, and they got the football back. So it's 10-3, 6 minutes to go until halftime as they play in Las Vegas. That Lions-Buccaneers game that I spent 6 minutes of everyone's life talking about uniforms, still 3-0. So guess what? More uniform talk on the way here on Fox Sports Radio. Buccaneers have the ball nearing midfield, which, by the way, looks magnificent with the Bucco Bruce helmet.
Oh,
Look at that. I mean, like that is just gorgeous as the Buccaneers try to get some points on the board, down 3-0 in that one. An NFC West matchup that I think a few weeks ago we thought could be a battle for the number 1 pick, and now it's a little bit more than that. Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals have gone into L.A. and have taken a 6-3 lead early in the second quarter, and then that's it. Then we've got the Lions and Buccaneers 3-0, as I mentioned, at midfield. Hit Kerry up at Kerry25 Rhodes. You can find me at Dan Beyer on Fox. We're going to take a look at what happened earlier today in Week 6 as well, and how in the world did the Cleveland Browns have a recipe to beat the 49ers? We're going to break it down. That's next here on Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
I get emotional about this. I'm about to cry. Dear NFL, thank you for your unpredictable nature.
The best part about the NFL is competition.
For your divisional rivalries.
We own this team.
For the passion week in and week out.
Yeah.
Thank you, NFL, for being you.
You only love me because I get sacked.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
The new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium is here. Switch to my plan from Verizon at your local store today, and you'll get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on us with Unlimited Ultimate when you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition. Guaranteed. Yep, even the old phone in your pocket right now. It's your Verizon. $999.99 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Fellow Americans, Noble Gold Investments is here to democratize your dollars. Imagine your wealth as a treasure chest in a world full of paper money that's as unstable as a house of cards. Noble Gold Investments offers you the solid gold and silver keys to that chest. Don't just take it from me. Lillian P. said, Ben guided me flawlessly from purchase to receipt, and Ronald, a retired CPA, has been totally satisfied since 2019. Noble Gold Investments isn't just a company. It's your financial guardian for life. It stands for integrity, efficiency, and the American way. And this month, with any qualifying precious metals IRA, you'll receive a free 5-ounce solid silver America the Beautiful bullion coin. Did we mention free? Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold or silver. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. Noblegoldinvestments.com. The only gold company you should trust. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I am what I am. There's nothing normal about him, and he's not your average sports fan.
Why are people trying to convince themselves average is good?
He's different.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky.
He's Colin Cowherd, dissecting 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Now, here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Gotta have it. It's great.
Jerry, Steve Smith said he had some kind of conversation with you before the game. Did that not go well, or based on what he said on air on NFL Network?
I don't remember that. But like I said, it was a close game. You just got to finish at the end of the game.
So that's how you handle it if you're like a 12-year-old and you try to fool us into believing that you don't remember stuff and you don't address it. I think the mature thing would have been in that situation. Steve Smith was a great player. I respect him a lot. It's my goal to prove him wrong, what he said about me. And if we had an awkward moment before the game, then I take ownership in that and I apologize.
I don't know if you have to go as much as apologizing, but I do think that to act like, look, the first thing is I actually agree with Jerry Jeudy in that right after a game, the last thing you want to talk about is some beef you had with a sideline analyst, whatever, before the game. It's just a weird transition, right? It's like we get done with the show, if it's a really, really big show, and again, I know a show is not a competition, so it's hard for me to, but then you go like, hey, remember before the show when we were talking, we have a conversation, like, no, I really, like right now, I'm just thinking about what we just finished. So I actually do understand that. Now, as far as owning it, I mean, look, if you're going to pop in behind a live shot, if you're going to run your mouth to Steve Smith, who's a great player, then you had to back it up. If you're gonna talk it, you got to walk it. He didn't walk it. In that place, Jerry Judy's entire act is an over.
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. We've done the calculations. We've crunched the numbers. Our morning math is simple. 2 pros plus 1 Joe equals a butt-kicking combination.
They're like emotionally unstable zombies.
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn,
Everything felt really itchy.
and Jonas Knox.
I like it chunky.
What? Come on.
It's 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Kicking butt every morning. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
So how do you like it?
The question is this.
You like it like this?
I'm strictly talking basketball.
Or like this?
Baseball tends to be, of all our sports, very much steeped in tradition.
And what about this?
Basically, the NFL has found ways to make money off of everything.
Like it a lot.
Whatever it is that you like, we've got it covered. It's sports the way you like it on Fox Sports Radio. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
We don't have points, but we've got turnovers. As we're live from the TireRack.com studios, he's Kerry Rhodes. I'm Dan Byer. It's Week 6 in the NFL. You're listening to Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. Monty Bolaños will give us a score update in about 10 minutes. I'm about to tell you what some of the scores are right now, though. Today's show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. Patriots were driving, and they were down 10-3 to the Raiders. And then Mac Jones threw a, is it fair to say bad?
It was really bad.
Really bad
Really
interception.
bad.
Completely overthrew Hunter Henry, and the Raiders get the football back. So they hold on to the 7-point lead, and New England squanders a scoring opportunity. We have points in Tampa. Buccaneers have kicked a field goal. They're tied with the Lions at 3 apiece now midway through the second quarter. A field goal fest in L.A. My neighbor's at this game. My neighbor took his girlfriend. They were decked out in their Aaron Donald and Todd Gurley jerseys, and they are enjoying a 6-3 barn burner right now.
Yeah.
I hope my neighbor, he's 20-year-old kid, great kid. I hope they're secure in the relationship, because it's taking a date to a 6-3 football game, unless it's Taylor Swift. I don't know if it's a great idea.
Taking a date to a football game. This is not like an early date. This is like they've been together for a while.
I hope so. Or it could be a reason to leave early, listen to us in the car, and then they can go and do other things.
Yeah, I think we could probably finesse that situation a little bit. So let them know. Text them and let them know we're here for them.
It's 6-3 in the middle of the second quarter. Cardinals on top of the Rams. And the Jets have just turned the Eagles over. So Zach Wilson expected to get the football in Philadelphia territory as the Eagles lead it 7-3, 10:48 left to go until halftime there. The shocker of the day, and I don't think anybody saw this, and we didn't know Deshaun Watson's status, saw this coming. We didn't know Deshaun Watson's status throughout the week. It just didn't look good when he wasn't practicing after the bye week. And he ends up not playing today. But the Cleveland Browns, with P.J. Walker as their quarterback, go in and have the 49ers come into town, and the Browns beat them 19-17. Niners had a chance. Jake Moody missed a field goal at the end of the game that would have won it for the 49ers. But San Francisco dealt their first loss of the season by the Cleveland Browns. I didn't pick Cleveland to win today.
Yeah.
But I think that there were so many signs, Kerry, when you see this, and if you just take a step back and look at the NFL and why this really could have been a trap for the 49ers, coming off of that huge emotional win on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And now you kind of go into a foreign stadium you're not familiar with, you're 3 time zones away. They're a wounded animal. They don't have their starting quarterback, but they got a heck of a defense. I think there was a lot there that showed you that Cleveland could give the Niners the business. And they gave them more than the business. They gave them their first loss of the season today.
Yeah, Cleveland's one of those teams that I think they're really good. Obviously, I mean their record indicates that they're middle of the pack right now, but they got the potential to be a really good team as this season progresses. Defense is number one in the league right now, and then you have Deshaun Watson starting to get it and starting to play like Deshaun Watson. Hopefully, he gets back from his injury and plays the same way. But this team wasn't. I don't think it was a huge surprise that they could win the game. I think it's a huge surprise that they won the game coming from how well San Fran has been playing. But Cleveland's a team that's going to be a team to reckon with all year.
How real is the emotional letdown of coming off of that Cowboys game and then a week where everybody's telling you that you are the toast of the town, you're the best in the NFL, you just destroyed Dallas, who we thought was a great team. Now, Dallas caught a lot of heat, but we were also praising the 49ers. How much of a toll do you think that takes on a team?
For sure. I mean, it's definitely, from the outside looking in, definitely a trap game situation, exactly what you said. But I just, from being in the locker room, a lot of times you do have those moments of that, but you can't have a trap game when you're going to a team where Cleveland is a team, like I said, if you look at them on tape, they're physical, so they can match physicality with San Francisco. And so if they were able to get enough stops like they did today, and plus the weather was it was raining, a little bit sloppy, so it evened the playing field on the skill position. So it's one of those games where, like I said, I thought it'd be pretty close, and it turned out to be that way.
On a 4th and 5, the Jets had the football. I got some good news and bad news for you, Kerry. They completed the pass on 4th and 9. That's the good news. The bad news is it was for 4.5 yards. So the Eagles will get the football back. Zach Wilson, it's not a salt. He didn't have anywhere to really go. Trey Conklin ends up catching it along the sidelines, but just shy of the first down marker. So it looks like the Jets will be giving the ball back to the Philadelphia Eagles. They keep going on the replay, but he landed on the wrong side of the first down marker, and they needed to get to the 40-yard line. They did not do it. So the Eagles will end up taking over on downs of 1st and 10. The Niners thing is just, I think that there are two things that are going to come of this. You're going to hear a lot about the injuries. Deebo Samuel got dinged up today, didn't return with a shoulder injury. Christian McCaffrey was hurt, at some point, but still, this is a conversation for a team that all week we just talked about how many great players they have, and it's not meant to downplay the importance of Deebo Samuel or Christian McCaffrey's injury here, but everything that we had heard was how great this team was, and now you have the other team not have their starting quarterback, having to go to a guy that was just recently brought in. So I think that makes all of the 49ers' excuses for this game pretty much moot because it wasn't great in Cleveland's case. And now you see what happened with Brock Purdy, who people were pointing out MVP candidate. This could be the guy. To look at what he has done, he could be the most valuable player of them all. Goes 12 of 27 today, 125 yards, a lot of them on the final drive to end up getting in field goal range, but threw a touchdown, ended up throwing an interception. It wasn't a great day for Brock Purdy, and I think that it's a good lesson. It's not to say this is who Brock Purdy is, but I think it's a very good lesson for all of us in wanting to anoint someone or put the cart ahead of the horse, because we were having these crazy conversations. You compared to what Brock Purdy did compared to what Dak did last week, and you're saying to yourself, man, Brock Purdy's got it. I think he does have it. Everybody says he has it. He looks cool. But right now, I don't think that he's the quarterback to maybe make up for some of the gaps that you may have when Deebo's hurt, when Christian McCaffrey's sitting out, when the weather gets bad, and that's why I think it showed up today in Cleveland.
I think you're 100% accurate on that assessment. But I also think that, again, there's going to be games where things aren't pretty, and you're going to have off nights, just like you have great nights, right? And so, either way, like the pendulum of being great and being average happens a lot in the NFL. And so there are a few guys that play at that ultimate level all the time. You see what Patrick Mahomes had up. We just compared him to Zach Wilson last week.
Sure.
It happens. So I don't think the assessments game to game really matter inside. I think it matters more on the outside for us to talk about. But inside, they're going to be unwavering in their support of Brock Purdy, and I think he is a guy that can get it done.
I'll say this. They have the Vikings coming up in Week 7 on Monday night. I would not want to be Minnesota. You get an extra day to prepare. Now, granted, the game's in Minneapolis, but It is not a spot where now you've kind of woken up the dogs a little bit. I'm also, by the way, I do want to say one thing, and I have to clarify this, and I don't know the answer. Are you friends at all with Trent Williams? Do you know Trent Williams of the 49ers?
I don't know Trent at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But I do know one. Go ahead. I'll let you go, though. I'll let you set it up because you got something.
Stop fighting wide receivers and cornerbacks, okay? It's not a good look. You are already the biggest man on the field. We saw the sucker punch a few weeks ago against the Giants. We've seen clips in the past when he got in Richard Sherman's face. Today, when that brouhaha happened prior to the game, and Debo was in the center of it with the Browns and Niners, Trent Williams comes barreling in. Watch this video. And you know who he picks a fight with? Not Za'Darius Smith, not Myles Garrett. Elijah Moore, the wide receiver who weighs about $175. Like, that's who Trent Williams pushed out of the way. Moore's like, wait, what was I doing? I wasn't even, it just, fight someone your own size. It's my only point.
Dan, I think he will fight anybody.
He hasn't. That's the problem.
I really see him as an equal opportunity fighter. I really do. I mean, yes, Elijah Moore was on the wrong end of it this time, but you know how it goes.
Maybe he's just starting small and working his way up.
It's a warm up.
But right now, like wideouts and corners should not be the people that you are messing around with, Trent Williams. You need to mess around with some of the bigger dogs. Niners got one from the dog pound today at 19-17. Let's jump over to the news desk. Monty Bolaños. By the way, Trent Williams wants nothing to do with Monty, right?
Not at all.
Do not get on your bad side.
Not at all.
I would take him.
Yeah,
I
you're
would
right.
take him.
Yes, absolutely.
Carrie, what would you do if Trent Williams was coming at you?
I would stand behind him and get on the knee and let you push him over.
There we go. That's the
Tag
game plan
team.
right
Tag
there.
team.
Right there. Oh, fellas, what a day, really. That 49ers loss had to have hurt. Poor kicker Jake Moody missing that 41-yard field goal. I would not like to be him. But a lot of baseball. Well, there is baseball today. A lot of football today. Right now, 4 games going on. Raiders up on the Patriots 13-3. They're about to head into halftime. The Cardinals added a field goal, so they're up on the Rams 6-3. 5 minutes to go in the game. I don't know why you would take your date to that. Let's hope it is like they've been dating for a while. Like if this was your first date, no bueno.
Yes,
exactly.
No bueno.
They were decked out. I think he gave her his Todd Gurley, like old school Rams jersey.
That's cute.
Which was, yeah. So it was awesome seeing him go to the game. And then I'm like, she's watching a field goal fest.
Yes.
You should have took her to a soccer match.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. No offense. But
seriously, no, yeah. Let's hope it's not a first, second, or third date. Let's hope we're in the dates.
Yeah, they're close to making that thing official.
Exactly. Yeah. Lions and Buccaneers also kind of a boring game. 3-3 so far. 4 minutes to go before they reach halftime. And the only undefeated team left, the Eagles, right now beating the Jets 14-3, and they do have the ball. But all started today in London, fellas, with the Ravens beating the Titans 24-16. So Baltimore is now 4-2, 6 Justin Tucker field goals. He is the GOAT of that. The Titans did end the game with Malik Willis at quarterback. Ryan Tannehill sustained an ankle injury. He was on crutches, but he's not going to have an MRI until they get home. The Bengals held on to beat the Seahawks 17-13. Sorry, Dan. I don't know what to tell you on that. Tough one. It wasn't pretty, but they held on to beat the Seahawks, and it was that tough interception at the end by Geno Smith, but he did throw for 323 yards, 2 interceptions, that one at the end. The Commanders beat the Falcons 24-16. Sam Howell had 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. Might need an ice bath. The Vikings defeated the Bears 19-13. Justin Fields left the game for Chicago with a right hand injury. The x-rays were negative, but he will have an MRI. The Jaguars outscored the Colts 37-20. Jacksonville's quarterback Trevor Lawrence, 20 of 30, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Travis Etienne, 18 carries, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins, there was a moment where you thought, wow, maybe the Panthers will get their first win.
Be the day?
You had a moment, like really, and the moment lasted. They were up 14-0. Miami erased that and came out on top 42-21. Carolina, the only winless team in the NFL. And then, of course, the Texans, they topped the Saints 20-13. CJ Stroud, who has been great, that streak ended 191 passes without an interception. He threw an interception today, but he did throw for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns, so not too shabby.
While you were talking, Amon-Ra St. Brown just got into the end zone for the Lions.
Woot.
Did a lot of the work, yes, on a Jared Goff pass. Lions have taken that lead 10-3 now on the Buccaneers.
Well, there you go.
Yes. And by the way, Monty's boyfriend is a Ravens fan.
He
Was he
is.
up
He
at
is.
6:30 this morning?
No, he was up, but not at 6:30.
Okay.
But he was up.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was up, he was already up.
This is the thing, and I bring this up whenever we have the international games. When you live on the West Coast, if you live in the Pacific time zone, you're spoiled with a lot of sports with the time that it is. It's earlier. You don't have to stay up until 1 a.m. I always feel that this is our payback.
It is.
Like the London game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sure anybody who's living in the Eastern time zone is like, yes, football at 9:30. How awesome is that? And we're like, we get it at 10 every week, idiots, you know? But this is our way of paying the bill that on a Sunday morning you have the 6:30 game. And so, yeah, it does on my level. Is it worth getting up? Couple of weeks, the Dolphins and Chiefs are going to be playing in Germany. That's worth getting up on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Ravens Titans did not reach that threshold.
Dan, I got up. I'm
You
sorry.
did?
I
Wow.
I got up. I was up at 6:30 watching the game, and you know, Lamar came out hot.
He
played
did.
well and got the win. I'm a Ravens fan as well, on just slightly because of Lamar. Because
Louisville.
My
Yeah.
Louisville guy. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
but
So I was up. I didn't get out to bed, but I was up.
the other graphic that they've showed because now the London games are done. You have the 2 games in Germany. They show that the Chiefs and Dolphins will play on November 5th.
Yeah.
And then the week after, we are sending them Colts Patriots. It reminds me of when you go to a restaurant and the appetizers are all better than the main entrees. You're like, I'm just going to order 3 apps because that's what you've got. Like Dolphins Chiefs just could be the game of the year of the AFC right now with how things are shaping out. And we're going to send that one to Germany. But before they get too big in their britches, here's Colts Patriots.
Maybe that will be exciting because it's going to be like 3-3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh my goodness.
Yes. I got Mac Jones picked off again, you know.
I know, right? Yeah.
Did that just happen right now?
No,
'Cause that could happen right now.
I was looking. I was like, whoa.
Did that happen
sorry.
right now? I missed it.
Yeah. No, don't worry about it. They're
It
at
didn't
the
happen
half.
this time.
They're at the half. He can't throw any interceptions in the locker room. We do know that. That is for good. All right, hit her up at Monty Bolaño. She'll be back later giving us the updates of what is happening in all these games. DeAndre Swift getting into the end zone for the Eagles as well. Again, they're up on the Jets 14-3 in that contest. Now, it was a 9-yard pass, not a run for DeAndre Swift. So if you have Jalen Hurts on your fantasy team, you got the touchdown run earlier, and now you got a touchdown pass. But now is the opportunity. 5:26 left to go until halftime. If you are Zach Wilson, if you are the Jets, this is the opportunity that you got to put something on the board.
I agree. Zach and these guys have to move the ball down the field. They've been in it. They're in a position to keep this thing close and keep it manageable. And if they don't here, it's going to be tough sledding from here on out.
There's a lot of green here in that game because of the uniforms and the field and everything that you've got with it. But the Philadelphia Eagles, and we saw it today with the 49ers. Philadelphia Eagles now are the final unbeaten team left in the National Football League. And it's not that they aren't immune from playing a bad game. They've had some tests. They let the Patriots back in it in week 1. They had a game against the Vikings where Minnesota just wouldn't end up going away. And then you had the Commanders game just a couple of weeks ago where Ron Rivera could have gone for 2 at the end of regulation, decided to kick the extra point and force overtime, and the Eagles prevailed. But when you see what Philadelphia has done so far, and I'm going to use the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they played on Thursday night, as a bit of an example and comparing and contrasting these teams. We just talked about the 49ers. And listen, it's the National Football League too. I know it's an easy cop-out, Carrie, in saying that, but these things happen. Everybody is paid. Everybody is a professional. Guess what? Some weeks you're just not as good as you were the week before. It's just not your week, and there are going to be a lot of different factors in that. I give the Eagles a lot of credit for managing this, and they may have the better roster. They may just be the better team, but I thought that this team was set up for a bit of a Super Bowl letdown for how, you're leading in the second half against Kansas City. You end up giving it away at the end. Chiefs get the late field goal to end up winning it. Losing the Super Bowl takes a lot out of you. It's what I liked about the Bengals last year is, yeah, they lost a heartbreaker to the Rams in the Super Bowl in a really good game, but they came back and played good football and made it to the AFC Championship. I thought Philadelphia was going to deal with the Super Bowl hangover, And while it hasn't been pretty, they're 5-0 and right now the only remaining unbeaten team in the National Football League.
Dan, so did I. I thought they would have a little Super Bowl hangover as well. And to a certain degree, I still think they have. They've been able to win these games. And, at the end of the day, either you win or you lose.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys they haven't been overly impressive to me. So to see them, still be sitting here at 5-0 right now at this time is a little bit of a shock to me. But yeah, they got some stuff they still need to work out. And I don't even think that, Jalen Hurts in that offense has been humming on all cylinders at any point this year yet. So, they still have room for improvement. And I also think having that room for improvement makes them actually even scarier as the season goes on.
They've got a crazy stretch of games. Okay, so they've got the Jets here. But next week, Dolphins come to town for Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got division game against the Commanders. Then Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners. That's their stretch. And then after that, Cowboys, Seahawks. So you are going to have some big games. You're going to have to be up and up. I'm giving them credit as now Breece Hall has got the Jets deep into Eagles territory on a big run. So it's 14-3 under 4 minutes to go. The point that I just want to compare the Eagles and the Chiefs to is I don't think the Chiefs are playing great football right now, Kerry.
Right.
I think that the Eagles have been impressive because they've been able to stay 5-0. They've been able to weather some of their stuff, something that the Niners just couldn't end up doing today. And yeah, maybe the kick goes through the uprights. They're in the same spot as where the Eagles are.
Right.
But the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are going to have a little bit of difficulty. I really do. I think that where they are playing right now, we have talked so much about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce that we haven't entirely focused on what is right and what is wrong with Kansas City right now. And unless a move is made, unless they do something at the trade deadline, I'm not sure how much better they're going to get. With Travis Kelce can only do so much. Patrick Mahomes can only do so much. Isaiah Pacheco's actually been pretty good for them.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need Rashee Rice or Sky Moore or somebody like that to really step to the plate, or that defense to really step up, because the Chiefs haven't looked that great in these first 6 weeks of the season, at least to what we're accustomed to with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more of the Super Bowl hangover in Kansas City than it was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Chiefs is we're just used to seeing them score so many points, and they're not able to do that right now. I think their defense has been impressive. So there's a little bit of shift going on in Kansas City as far as their overall makeup as a team. Defensively, right now at this point, they're strong suit. And until they get some other guys on the offensive side, receiving wise, pass catchers to step up and make plays, they're going to be in the middle of the road, and defense is going to have to carry them right now.
Imagine that, being 5-1, and I'm not impressed. Jets have it 3rd and 10 at the Philadelphia 18-yard line, and Zach Wilson was just sacked, so they're going to have to settle for 3, down 14-3 with about 3 minutes to go in that one. We told you Amon-Ra St. Brown scored for the Lions. Extra point was good, so now they're up 10-3 on Tampa. Tampa's got the football nearing midfield with $1:06 left to go until halftime, and the Lions have just gotten a stop on 3rd down, so Tampa's going to have to punt it away. Mentioned that the Raiders and Patriots continue to be at halftime. Las Vegas up 13-3 in that one. And the field goal fest continues, but Arizona driving against the Rams, a 1st and 10 from LA's 15-yard line, and they've got a 6-3 lead on the other side of the 2-minute warning, again, nearing halftime in LA. He's Kerry Rhodes, 8-year NFL vet, at Kerry25Rhodes. You can find me at Dan Beyer on Fox as we're live from the TireRack.com studios. Coming up next, do the Bears have a quarterback controversy now in Chicago? That and your fantasy numbers here on Fox Sports Radio.
Football fans, it's the pregame show you've been waiting for. Don't miss Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, taking you all the way to kickoff. There's no better way to get ready for football every Sunday than with us, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. If you like using debit over credit, don't you think it's time to also get rewarded? Well, now you can with Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, you're not charged any account fees, period. Whether you're moving, starting a new job, or headed into the next stage of life, whatever it is, Discover Cashback Debit is for everyone. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, you must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. We're breaking this down.
You and I had concluded a while ago that the load management stuff is a farce.
Big time.
And Joe Dumars came out and said that they have new scientific data that says their load management has zero effect on players getting injured or staying healthy. And Rob, I'm glad Joe did it. Now, you brought this up with Eddie House, and I think you're right on the money because I thought the same thing. Part of this is the league wanting to get this message out to ESPN, and Turner, and all the places that they have their games on. Because you know how much I love basketball. I've covered it for nearly 30 years and obviously loved it as a fan. I am so sick and tired of looking forward to a big Thursday night game, and then you turn it on or you find out a couple hours before the game that the Stars aren't playing, or
You've
one
been
of the
saying
big
it all
stars
year,
isn't
like
playing.
how sick, like here it is, another game I've been looking forward to, and nobody's playing. I told you when I went to that Dallas Mavericks Lakers game with my family, and we were fortunate that Luka and Kyrie played and Anthony Davis, no LeBron, but we were fortunate 3 of the 4 stars Chris played.
Right.
But there was a question, and you
It's a shame
never
you
know.
have to even think that way.
Right.
Rob, we don't have data, but it looks like players are getting hurt more than ever. And what a lot of ex-athletes have told us.
To get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
The Ben Maller Show.
Are you in? Who gets the biggest glass of the Blame Sweet Tea for the Braves? And we are getting forget a glass, we are getting a jumbo-sized pitcher of Blame Sweet Tea for Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves. The Braves thought with Ronald that they were getting a majestic butterfly. But keep in mind, he's a caterpillar. And not every caterpillar turns into a beautiful butterfly. Some caterpillars turn into moths. And in this case, Acuna turned out to be a moth, right? Everyone is not cut out for October pressure. And the man that's going to win the MVP award, he turned into a moth flying into a flame in the postseason. And it appeared on my television, maybe my TV's broken, but it looked like Ronald Acuna Jr. went up there with a blindfold.
Ben Maller, weeknights, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick. Yeah.
Maybe it's recency bias with the Broncos.
Could be.
With what we saw last night.
It is wonky.
But can they get out of that contract? What can Denver do? Like, they owe Russ a lot of money. They owe their head coach $100 million. They gave up all those draft picks.
I have Russell Wilson's contract. He actually is not going to make that much money next year. He's going to make $35 million. But if they wanted to, I guess they could eat that $35 million. The dead cap hit is $85 million. You would have to trade him to exit him from your franchise.
Okay, let's say you're Denver and you continue to play bad and you have one of the top 2 picks in the draft. Would you use that pick